Welcome back to YouthLine Live. My name is Jessica.
My name is Jesus.
Jesus is a college student, which is our topic today. How has college been for you so far?
So far, it's kind of strange for college because I went to community college first in CCSF, and I decided to major in computer science. I'm not saying that's like um, the best choice I've ever done for college. I think I should have majored in something else. But I think so far, I feel like in the first years of college, it was kind of easy, too easy for me actually. I thought it was gonna be a lot harder because I would see like other college students kind of struggling with their classes and stuff, and I'm like just sitting here like, am I doing something wrong? Am I supposed to be as struggling as they are or something? But no, for the first years, college was pretty easy, and I was just zooming by. It wasn't until I transferred to SF State where I started taking more advanced classes, where I started to struggle.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think for me, it was kind of like the opposite, just because I took like a gap year off from high school, and then like going back to college was like when the whole pandemic started, which just made it more difficult because I went straight into like my first year and then online learning, and it was like a different experience. But I think overall it was pretty good, and like I was able to do the work on time. Like I still passed my classes with good grades. But I think it was alright. It wasn't too bad. It was just interesting experience as well.
Yeah, I think you touched on something very important, is that you're trying to like do everything on time, kind of like how you would back in high school.
Yeah.
I feel like that kind of mentality kind of just sticks to you when you're in college, and so you kind of have this pressure of putting things on time, even though spoiler alert, college does give you a little bit more leeway, and professors are a bit more understanding of what you're going through. Life happens. They can easily just postpone a due date later on just for you. Yeah. Unlike in high school where everyone is due at this time, and if you don't do it, then it sucks for you.
So how did high school teachers teach? What did they teach about college?
Actually, when I was in high school, still a lot of the teachers there, they would picture college like so difficult, because like for example, back in high school, you would take notes on a certain class, let's say history class, but that was because you would take notes on whatever the teacher was writing down on the board, or like what you were reading on the textbook. But then they started to talk about how in college you have to essentially write notes while the professor is speaking, which is totally not the case. Well, at least for me, I never actually had to do that because the professor would always, let us know, oh, this is going to be on the test, this is going to be on the homework.
Like you
so
know
study,
to
yeah.
write.
Yeah. Kind of like in high school. If anything, it would be like a lot easier than high school, if anything.
I think for me, I would say it's kind of the same too, but I feel like professors made it, like in high school, the teachers made it sound more hard. Because I remember being in classes and them telling us, like, you guys have to make sure, like, you write down everything I'm writing on the board.
Right.
And I remember I would just start writing everything.
Yeah.
But then if you really think about it, that's just not like a smart thing to do, because then you don't even really pay attention to what they're saying. You're just writing down stuff.
Yeah. Right.
That's what they're saying you're supposed to do.
Yeah, and most importantly, you're most of the time when you're trying to take notes on what they're trying to teach you, you focus too much on writing the notes that when you look back on your notes, you don't really know like what's going on, because your notes are like illegible because you're rushing on it. So
you have a bunch of thoughts.
Yeah, you just have a bunch of scribbles that mean nothing now.
Yeah,
so.
I think like right now in college, I've just been like writing down important things, like you said when they mentioned like, oh, this is gonna be on the test. Just like write down the bullet point, like this is gonna be on the test, and I need to study this in the future.
Yeah. I think for I know this may vary for each like major, but for example, me, I'm majoring in computer science. We don't really have to take that many notes because all of the notes, it's kind of like you're doing it already.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's more of a reflex memorization, like doing stuff on the computer, rather than taking notes. I mean, aside from the math classes,
Yeah.
because in computer science you have to take a bunch of math classes, you have to take physics classes. In which case, that makes sense to take notes on. But the professors are usually
Yeah.
pretty cool, I guess.
Yeah, I can agree with that because I do have some classes where it's not like on Zoom, so it's
Mhm.
just like you do the material, and then we take like quizzes. But we know, like, let's say I'm reading a book and it'll say like quiz on chapters 1 and 2, so I know I have to read like the whole book and learn. Like I won't have to take notes. I
Yeah.
know what I'm taking the quiz on.
Mhm. Right.
So that goes on to like, is college what you expected?
Not really, actually. I pictured college to be more difficult, in my personal opinion, because that's where, I mean, we go back to the same story. Like, the high school teachers would always explain to you how they had it rough when they were in college, and then how their professors were really mean to them, or like how their classes were just really difficult to understand.
Yeah.
But now that I'm in college, I mean, I guess, at the junior, senior state, I guess it's a little bit more understandable. But in the early years, you're kind of chilling
Yeah.
for the meantime. But, yeah, no, I don't know, maybe I did something wrong.
No, because I just think like the first 2 years of like whether it's like university or college, they're just like required classes, like the basic classes. So I think maybe that's why it's kind of like easing you into like what to expect. But I also feel like college is a little bit different. Like it's like you have to be independent. It's on you if you want
Yeah.
to be a good student.
Yeah.
That's the only difference. And like high school teachers, like they have more pressure on us versus a college professor. You're grown. You know what you're supposed to be doing. If you
Yeah.
don't do it, then that's on you.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
So I think like in a way, college was what I expected because I know like the work that I had to do was like if I wanted a good grade, the work would have to be on me.
You also touched on, they give you easy classes at 1st, which is actually which is 100% true, by the way, because you, even though you graduated from high school, you're still expected to take, the easy classes,
Yeah.
your general education classes first.
Yeah.
So regardless of whether you took like AP classes or not, you still have to take algebra again and like
Yeah.
some English classes again. So that's a little bit of a kind of a difference between what I expected from college, because what I was expecting from college is basically starting off where I left off in high school.
Yeah.
Like for example, the last math class I took in high school was probably pre-calculus and AP statistics, and so I was expecting when I going into college that I would start learning actual calculus and doing more advanced statistics classes, but apparently not. I started going back learning algebra again.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of weird. And my AP stats class didn't really mean anything for college, so there goes on my time.
Yeah. And I think that's something like teachers don't really mention too, like what to expect. They just kind of like try to scare you.
Yeah.
But they don't really help you understand like what's gonna happen and what to expect.
If anything, the only thing that really do help you, I don't know if this may vary between high schools and stuff, but in my high school they really did help me with financial aid in college, with stuff like that, and yeah, that's really the only help I got from college. I mean, from high school.
Yeah, for my high school, we had like counselors. Like I think all schools have that. But besides that, we had this program. I don't know if you've heard of them. They were called 10,000 Degrees. That would go into our school, and they were like, like they individually sat with each student one on one and made sure like to enroll them in financial aid.
Wow.
Yeah,
Sounds
so
pretty good.
that was really nice. Like, and I think that was a huge help because some families who come from like first time like college students, they don't really know what to do, so or where to get the help from. So I thought that was really nice. So do you think that you're really job ready after college?
Not really. I mean, again, we go back to the. It varies with each degree, I think.
Yeah.
Because for some degrees, you're expected to do internships during college, which might be overwhelming for some people because you're taking classes, you're doing the homework for those classes, and you're expected to take an internship at the same time. It's kind of difficult to balance those things out. But even after taking some internships, I still feel like I haven't really learned much in my field.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I don't think I really am job ready right now.
I think like going on what you said, it is like about internships and like volunteer work, and that's what they really look at. Because even though you have like once you're done with college, you have your degree or like whatever you have, like it's hard to get into that job when you don't have anything on your like resume.
Yeah, that actually kind of became a joke, like when you want to apply for a job, but they expect experience, but you need a job for experience.
Yeah.
So how exactly are you supposed to? How do you get that experience? In most cases, the easiest way out would be to volunteer, kind of like how you said. You'll be volunteering, doing work for free, and eventually, like, after I don't know, a couple of months, maybe a year.
Yeah.
Because I have a friend who actually did that. He graduated from San Francisco State University with a bachelor in computer science, but he could not get a job even like after a year.
Yeah.
But during that year, he was volunteering as a programmer for a nonprofit company, and eventually he did land the job. But that was like a year and a half after he graduated. So even then, like a lot of students aren't really job ready in those situations. So it kind of depends. Again, it may depend with each major.
What you're doing.
Yeah.
But I think regardless, they still might like want some kind of work. Like even when you were in college, like what did you do besides just going to school?
Yeah, like extracurricular activities, like joining a club and stuff.
Yeah.
Or maybe you couldn't really find a job or an internship or volunteer while college, but at least try to put some effort into like doing a project in the field that you're trying to do.
Yeah, I agree.
Something that you can show off to the interviewers.
Something that makes you stand out.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I agree with you. So me being like going back to school, I had to do everything online because of COVID. I feel like it was really challenging. Like I said, like I had took a year off school, and then everything was like happening. Like I was ready to go in person, and then all of a sudden everything closes if you have to do it online. I think it was challenging just because I didn't know what to expect. Like how was it gonna work with my schedule? And also, like, another thing about it was, like, the help, like, from teachers. I was like, how am I going to be getting, like, that extra help that I need? Like, that one-on-one time when I need help or I had questions. But then, like, once I'm doing it now, like, I realized, like, there was really nothing to worry about because, like, I can base my classes off my schedule. But not only that, like, I do have that one-on-one time with my professors. Like, once, like, I remember, like, the first week of school, like, they made sure to, like, give us syllabus. Like, usually, like, the same thing as high school. Like, and they tell you, like, oh, this is how you can contact me if you guys want, like, tutoring sessions or something. So I thought that was really helpful. And they also, like, all, like, my teachers had, like, the same link on how to like how to navigate through Canvas.
Yeah, I remember
So
Canvas.
so that was like really helpful because like sometimes you like especially me I didn't know what to expect at all, so that was a big help. And I would like to know like what was your experience like?
Yeah, no, I mean, well, I started college before COVID started,
Mm-hmm.
so I did have a little bit of experience of going to campus and actually looking at my professors and stuff and interacting with them. Oh, that must have been pretty challenging though, because like transitioning from high school into college,
Yeah.
you would expect some sort of advisor or somebody holding your hand, so to speak, to like guide you through everything. But having everything being online, that was kind of it's kind of challenging, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was challenging because like usually like you said when you were in high school, like you already know like you had already talked to the counselor, like you know where you're going to. But me like going back to school, like I had to look for the help. Like I had to contact City College and see how to enroll in classes. Like meet with the counselor and everything. So it was just a little bit more challenging because I had to do it all by myself. Like go and look for that help. But thankfully, like everyone that I talked to, like there, like was able to help me. And also on top of it, like I was the first one in my family to go to college, so I didn't have anyone else to ask to. But it makes me feel like better at the same time because I got that experience and I was able to like now my younger cousins like going into college, like I was able to help them register for classes and everything. So that was like the good side of it.
Yeah, that's nice. Actually, yeah, I just wanted to ask that because that's kind of how well, I started CCSF back in 2016. I transferred in 2020, but by that time, COVID had already happened. So the whole online learning had already happened. But after 2020, I was supposed to transfer to SF State, and during the transfer, it was again kind of tricky because I couldn't really talk to people. Everything was kind of online, so that was kind of the kind of like what you said.
You have to look for that.
Yeah, you have to be responsible for yourself and like really reach out to the college itself rather than them reaching out to you. So yeah, that was actually like the tricky part of like transitioning from community college to SF State. But again, mainly because everything was online rather than in person. But in person, everybody was, well, all the counselors in CCSF were really nice to me.
That's good.
That was probably one of the, it was a good experience in CCSF. Although, I mean, I'm pretty sure the people at SF State are also really nice. I just, haven't had the chance to actually talk with them one-on-one on person. But yeah, I think to any college that you go to, they will try to help you the most out for with your academics and financial aid and stuff.
Yeah, because now like I got into this program that was like EOPS where they help you with like books. And if you do want to transfer to like you said like 2 years in community college and then go to university, like they help you transfer with all that. So like it's just that extra help that's there, like those resources that really help you out. You don't. I mean, you still have to go to them to get the help.
Yeah.
But like you don't really have to look too much. Like they're there to help you.
Yeah. Actually, for I know this again may vary from college to college, but in SF State they actually let you know if you actually qualify. Well, they send you an email to let you know if you qualify for a certain grant or if you qualify for certain money, and depending on how many units you're taking or how much in need of a student you are, you might be low income, you might be undocumented or something like that. In which case they kind of like calculate how much you need and they'll just give it to you either by mail or if you have your direct deposit already like connected to their system, they'll just deposit it on your bank account.
Is that financial aid or is
that is financial aid?
That's
okay.
So when you apply there, you apply for financial aid as well.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I didn't know that. But it's just like nice to know stuff like that because like the people watching this too. Okay.
Yeah.
help.
Although it was, going back to like the whole classes and stuff
Yeah.
for the online learning, it's been tricky
Yeah.
because you go from going in person classes. I know, like everybody's been talking about this. We're going from in person to online, but in college, it's kind of strange because you're already used to like conversing with people, but when you go into Zoom links and stuff like that, you just kind of there, silent, not really interacting with anybody.
Yeah.
If anything, the person that you'll be most interacting with is the professor.
Yeah.
Because outside of that, unless you have like some sort of group work, you're kind of not doing much.
And not only that, but I think it's also hard to communicate when you don't see people's faces.
Yeah.
Everyone all like
they
have their cameras off
and their mics off or they're unmuted. So that's really like
hard to interact.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to interact. I mean, unless there's definitely classes or classmates that want to do like a group study, like a study group, in which case, they would try to contact as many people as possible.
Yeah,
in which case they would actually
those messages.
Yeah. And everybody just gets their phone numbers or emails together, and then they just make a group, and then they actually start talking to each other, which that's also kind of nice.
Yeah, I think like that's really smart. Like that's like the only way that you can communicate with them through like your school email, because you don't go on campus, you don't see anyone.
Yeah.
But how was it when you were in campus? How was
when I was in campus, I didn't really do much in campus actually. I went to classes, hang down in the cafeteria with my friends.
Yeah.
Really, the only time I would go to a different place would be to like. Is the MUB building still there?
I think it is.
The MUB. Yeah, I would go there.
Is that the one that crosses the street?
Yeah, the one that crosses the street at CCSF. I would go there to see my counselor every now and then about like transferring or financial aid and stuff.
Yeah.
But everybody at the campus was kind of chill. Everybody was like kind of minding their own business. The library, I actually like going to the library. It's a nice, quiet place for me to do the homework and study.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people don't really do that. I mean, we can like talk about this another day, but like studying, I'm pretty sure we did a podcast about this already actually, about study habits and how to study. But like, if you want to have a good place to study, go to the library.
Yeah.
Like honestly, do not study like in your dorm room or in your bed or anything like that.
Right.
Go to the library. It's so quiet. It keeps you focused. At least it kept me focused studying and doing the homework. But hey, everybody's different, so.
Yeah. And also going on what you said, I think it's really important to like meet with your counselor because you never know, like, you just want to make sure you're going towards your goal or you're working your way up, because again, like, no one really checks in with you. You have to go and check for yourself, how are you doing, and like what classes you need to take before you register. Like, it's really important to meet with your counselor, especially
for your degrees, because I know for CCSF, for example, I wanted to stay 4 more years to get my associates together, just in case something happened. So I had to, check what classes exactly I had to get for my associates, because nobody is really helping you in that. You kind of have to do it yourself. I mean, every now and then you can like check in with a counselor or an advisor telling you, oh, you need these classes specifically. But at the same time, you have to go to them, not them to you. Yeah. So you kind of have to be a little bit independent there.
Yes, because for me in high school, it was like different than college, because I remember in high school we would get randomly called down to the counselor's office to see how you're doing in your classes. Yep. But that's not the case in college. If you want to know how you're doing and making sure you're going towards your major or your degree, like, you have to check in with your counselor. Yeah. The most that colleges will do if they're going to reach out to you is like, you owe us this much. Or you got this financial aid. Or here's a hold. So like that's the most that you're going to get reaching out from college. So So we are reaching the end of our show. We would like to thank our viewers for taking the time to watch us, and I would also like to thank our guest Jesus for being on the show today. If you would like to watch more of our shows, you can go to youthlinesf.org, and you can also check out the Let's Chat section to inquire about information on how to become a guest, questions, or comments. If you want to watch more of our shows or more content, you can watch us on YouthLine Live on YouTube, and you feel free to check out some other videos that we have there. Make sure you like, share, and comment. Thank you, and that's all the time we have for today.